In the beginning, God made two people. God made Adam, who is a male, and Eve, who is a female. And when God made Adam and Eve, according to the story, God put Adam in a deep sleep and extracted one of Adam's ribs to create Eve. Eve having been next to him. Now we can also come up with an alternative story here, because there was a girl named Lilith as well. I know the stories where God made Adam and Lilith at the same time. That's okay, and that's absolutely fine, because they both play into what I'm getting ready to say in just a moment here. See, there's a kink in this story. There's a very interesting sort of missing puzzle about Adam and Eve that I find very fascinating. According to MGTOW, according to the Femme movement, and according to the Boss Babes, according to I Don't Need a Man, according to the divorce rate being 80% of the time initiated by women, according to even getting married to begin with, according to the statistical data of who's married in the country or who's happily married. You can be married, that doesn't mean you're happily married, you're just married. According to what we know, ladies and gentlemen, as average people, there's something missing in the story. There's something missing. See, I don't see nowhere in the scriptures where Adam had to make 6 figures a year. I don't see where God said that he was going to make Adam muscular with a 6-pack. I don't see nowhere. I guess perhaps that probably makes me a freak because I got an 8-pack. No, really, I do. Seriously. So I guess that means I'm from a different planet. But however, I don't see nowhere in the Bible that Adam had to take Eve, nor Lilith, well, let's just call her Eve for now. Let's not get complicated, to a 5-star restaurant and date her. I don't see that. I don't see where the animals are. You can say God did approve, but where Eve needed validation from the sky and the clouds and the antelopes and the zebras and the lurking alligators to date this man laying next to her. I don't see anywhere where they needed to learn of each other and walking down the waterways and getting to figure each other out to know what this other person have the potential to either do for them or do against them. See, the story leaves out so much to be desired, but it leaves out so much to be desired because it's actually exposing something that a lot of you funny people just don't quite get. See, there's so many missing gaps. There's so many contradictions in this. And it shows so much about your real world, your world that's around you, that a lot of you really, y'all going to learn eventually, but it's going to take a few decades. And by that time, this world is going to be perished. Because humans aren't really all that smart. You're not all that smart. You're not. Because you need a teacher to teach you something. But getting back to Adam and Eve, the story didn't say that Eve needed 10 years to be prepared and ready. It also leaves out the fact that they weren't kids growing up together. They just so happened to exist. Wow. Just poof, here we are. We're automatically of an adult age where, really, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, just think about it for a second. Poof, you're here on the ground. And God's like, there's Adam, there's Eve. Be together. Now, imagine if, see, I told you it's just too much to, y'all strange thinking people. It's too much for you to, for the average person to think about. And it's very simple. See, imagine them being ignorant in the garden, not knowing nothing, right? Until they bit the apple. They don't say really how old they were when they bit the apple, or if they were adults or not. Don't say too much about that. If they did, maybe I read over it, maybe I didn't pay attention. But if Adam and Eve was made at the same time, and they just started off as these two organic materials, and they're growing together next to each other, right? How is it that they would know how to stay together as two organic entities of existence? Where if they're growing like two babies or two infants, yeah, I'm making it complicated, but this is what's missing. Y'all don't think about this. That they're wandering around in this garden where there are all sorts of possibilities. See, there's something about water, that you need water to survive. You need water to supply you with hydration. That if a baby gets a hold of this water, it's liable to fall in, choke itself, not even know it's good for it. It might just lay there and just cry. If it was complete, listen, it will lay there and cry and try to figure out how to nourish itself. Not to imagine Eve on the other side trying to figure out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, let's say that, now, already the story is debunked right here. Already, there's some real life facts to what I'm saying right here. Then you elevate them to little bitty teenagers, or they're in the ages of 8, 9 years old, walking around this there's no curiosities. You're just going to just exist, right? Just think about it. You're just going to exist in this so-called paradise made from this ideal of God. And actually survive, too, with being ignorant at the same time. Now, stop right there. Ignorant. Ignoring. Or you could say not knowing, or you could say naive, because ignorant will not be the word to be used here, because they're not ignorant. They just don't know. You could say uneducated. You can say misinformed of where they are. See, even if God supplied them with all the nourishment that they needed, and made sure the water didn't choke them, and made sure that that they were just sitting there for however long it took for them to grow up to be an adult. I'm being realistic here. That's a long time to just be there underneath misinformation or not knowing who you are and what you're doing. Because remember, they had no knowledge. They had no knowledge of good and evil, and they just didn't know much because they didn't bite the apple yet. Right? Just think about it for a minute. Well, I'm keeping it real. This is facts here. This is our appeal here. This is straight Morpheus talk. Because how would you know what you're doing? So if you have people who say, well, it's because we defied God. It's because we bit the apple because we got smart. We started biting the apple and we defied God. And because of that, Eve had to suffer to bear kids and Adam had to suffer to work. But wait a minute. Wait. Stop. Do you realize that animals themselves, without a consciousness, sure, they can procreate, but they can procreate without a consciousness. They're just going at it. And here comes another baby. Oops. Here's a baby. Oops. And just like animals know how to take care of their kids by instincts. Let's just say Adam and Eve had instincts. Let me take a drink. Fine, right? But animals have instincts too. Just they don't have awareness. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. They don't have awareness. Their awareness is based on their instincts and survival. So, Adam and Eve is in this garden like animals. Really. Because you're not aware of yourself. You don't know that you're naked. You don't know what you're eating. You don't know what this liquid stuff is. You have no idea how you're making other human beings from your body. Just by instinct, you just... When nature calls... Eve lays on her back. Adam lays on top of her. And there you go. Because it's just the thing to do. No understanding at all. No comprehension of what is this process. Now, this baby has to come down the canal. It has to expand in her womb. Some kind of way. It has to, right? I'm sure the evolution from the beginning of time versus now, some people talking about the Darwin story and how man have evolved from apes and monkeys. Well, if you look at it, it's kind of interesting because that's very close. I'm not going to say that that's accurate, but if you think about them just being complete animals, not knowing what they're doing, just popping out babies, or they're here in the garden, just lawfully. Any animal can do that. Monkey, ape, chimpanzee, zebra, lion. It's just there. It just happens. So that's one reason why I can kind of attach to this story. Because you don't have knowledge. You don't know what you're doing. Animals are the same way. Without a sense of self, without the ability to have an intellectual edge, and not to mention communication in its own, and be able to build this communication through etching it on stone, or find out where these ink plants are. We have a unique situation on our hands. Now let's speed up the process to them being adults, which the story is kind of very vague and very tiptoey around. of the very reason that they bit this apple, because God didn't want them to bite this apple that God put in the garden that God had created, where he created Adam and Eve. Fascinating. That's playing mind games right there. So you know your children are unlearned. You know these two babies don't know anything, but you're going to put a pot of stew there, knowing that your kids do not even know what you're saying, because you can say no. They don't know what no is, nor do they understand what you mean by obedience or honor or respect. Respect God or respect me. How, when they're in this garden like animals? Pause. So now speed up the story here. That Eve, in her awesome curiosities, I always want to blame her for everything, but I'm talking about most people. So Eve, in her curiosity, bites this apple because she didn't know. Now all of a sudden, God's mad because these two animals who don't know what they're doing, they got instincts, but this apple is not portraying thorns. I'm sure this apple looked black and dripping with strange fluid, while the rest of the apples on the tree are bright red and green and orange and saying, "Come here." She may not even bite the apple. I can imagine that if this apple that God says don't bite had worms coming out of it, it smelt like a decaying body, and it looked like it can electrocute her fingers, you know for yourself she would not touch this fruit. Especially if the whole garden had every other thing in it. Oh yeah, I'm going to destroy this story. We're dealing with this right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with this. Oh yeah, I'm taking you there. Imagine you being God for a moment, and you don't want your kids touching something, and you know that they may do it anyway because you're supposed to be the all-knowing. You're not going to put it there where it's going to be glimmering in their face as temptation. That means you are evil and you're playing mind games with your kids. You're up to something. Which I can probably vouch here. That's probably the beginning of, let me stop. Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker being one. You could say the beginning of God and Satan all in one. Him being himself in another form, where you say God is Satan, but Satan's also God, playing these mind games with you. I'm only keeping it real. Right here, split face. Don't touch it, but I'm going to put it there for you to touch it anyway. Wow. Wow. Don't touch the apple, but I'm going to make it and put it in the garden just to see if you don't touch it, but I know you're going to touch it anyway. And then when you touch it, I'm going to judge you. I'm going to punish you. Wow. Listen. I'm going to create you as a non-intelligent species, and I'm going to put you in this garden that I created. I'm going to make fruits and berries, and I'm going to put it in this garden for you to eat. But I'm going to make a couple of fruits and berries that I'm going to tell you not to eat, even though I know that you're going to eat it anyway. So when you eat it, I'm going to punish you. Wow. Wow. Somebody call the doctor, please. Can somebody call a freaking doctor? Please call me, doc. Please. We need a doctor. We need a doctor. Because somebody's head is not on right, and it's not mine. I'm explaining this to you. This is as real as it gets. And it goes further to the point where now Eve is so-called suffering to birth the next generation as a child, right? Which is supposed to be something that she was doing anyway, or natural to do. Now she's doing it in pain and suffering of her body. And now Adam has to work for the rest of his life. Last time I checked, a diesel is made to haul heavy equipment, and a car is made to haul passengers. Last time I checked, a car don't haul trailers and heavy equipment. It only hauls people. Last time I checked, a semi-truck was never a passenger vehicle. It was made for commercial lifting and heavy equipment pulling and hauling. Last time I checked. When you look at the man and the woman through the years, he's naturally bigger, stronger, and his bone is thicker. And his shoulders are wider because he's a man. When you look at a woman, she's smaller, she's cute, she's petite, she's more narrow, or she has all the curves that you need for weeks. And she's a social creature as well. The passenger, social creature, the passenger, carrying kids while the man do the heavy load and the heavy work. Last time I checked, that wasn't a curse. It was a form of nature. Not to mention snakes that never walked upright. So don't call a lizard a snake. It's not. Don't be stupid. Well, you know, lizards walk upright. I guess that was a form of a snake. No, it wasn't. Snakes always slithered. Always did. And they don't eat dirt. They eat other animals and eggs and things they can get into their mouth. So also this curse, when you talk about, well, you know, I'm going to curse the snake and the serpent for deceiving Eve. Really? How? So now you tell me that this situation that happened between God and Lucifer, God strikes down Lucifer by this strange person called Michael, who probably never existed and have not existed, down to earth. And all of a sudden, this Satan possesses a serpent, which so happened to be a snake, to deceive this woman. But let's not forget that God created Lucifer as well. Let's not forget that Lucifer was in God's house. Let's not forget that God knows everything. Let's not forget that these are called angels. Let's not forget that God was supposed to be the leader and the Lord of all beings and most acknowledgeable. Let's not forget that. And Lucifer is supposed to be evil, right? Supposed to be very conniving, deceptive, you know, kill, steal, destroy, that sort of thing. Okay, so you'll say that Lucifer possessed a serpent. Why not possess a lion? Let's stop. Listen. Grow the hell up and listen. Stop getting in your feelings and accept the reality. If Lucifer really did not like humanity and he wanted to control humanity and he wanted to destroy the world, why would he not possess a lion or a tiger or a rogue elephant or a hawk or an eagle? Now you got to remember, Adam and Eve isn't so equipped with practically anything. They're butt naked. They don't know much. Remember, they didn't know. Eve didn't bite the apple yet. The serpent, or you could say Satan, or the devil, could have easily just went there and destroyed them. He could have, all sorts of, there are plenty of animals that can just go in there and just peck them away, put them to sleep easy. Why would Satan need to use a snake to slither up to Eve Now, some of you are thinking, well, he's trying to hide from God. Oh, 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 oh. Excuse me? So, if you're telling me that he had to use a serpent to lie to Eve or sneak his way up there because he's trying to go incognito, he's trying to do some type of stealth mission and sneak over there and whisper in Eve's eyes as if God didn't know that Satan was there, then God is responsible for the leaky roof then. That means God is responsible for the breach of security. That means God is responsible for not protecting Adam and Eve from the serpent who he knew was going to go in there and breach his protocol and deceive his two beings. Wake the hell up. Stop being stupid. Don't play over here in Academy of Wildman. Take your redundant, uneducated, funny-looking buck-tooth butt somewhere else to somebody else's channel. Don't play with me. I will go ahead and box you one of my favorite combs. It's bright red and yellow at top, and it has dummy on it. I will put it in a box. I will mail it to you first thing in the morning. You can wear it on your head for the rest of your life. Don't play over here. Open up your eyes. Then what you're saying is God is stupid. What you're saying is God didn't know. And you know what? There's plenty of saints, there's plenty of believers, there are plenty of people that are walking around you that will be comfortable to say, well, maybe God didn't know that this was going to happen. Then why are you calling him God? Why would you call Superman Superman if he doesn't have a cape on? If he can't fly like a speeding bullet and leap high bounds and help cats out of trees? Then why you call him Superman? And any other type of man can do what Superman is not doing. Shut your mouth and grow the hell up. So now we get to the point where the story continues on, where Eve continues to suffer, and then Adam, and then they just pretty much drop off the face of the planet. Because there were two sons, Cain and Abel. So the story keeps dragging on with that. But again, there's still some missing pieces in between that, because that's not what the book was for. The book was made to mind wash you. It wasn't there to teach you anything, because it leaves out so much. See, if you're going to accept the story, you need the whole story and nothing but the story, so help you God, right? You put your right hand on the Bible. Yeah, I tell the truth. Nothing but the truth, so help me God. I swear, yes, to the rosary, kiss to the cheek of the Pope. Right? How can you do that when there's so much missing? Because it's easy for it to be missing, because if you have to answer those questions, it would destroy the story. Then you soon realize it's not for your benefit, it's just to continue to make you stupid. While you're comfortable being stupid for the sake of the fear that it produces in your mind. Now let's give you the Shangri-La with this, because I'm done with this story. There's more to go, but let's go ahead and put the cap on this, ladies and gentlemen. See, the story didn't say that Adam had to wait till Eve turned 32 and had 300 boyfriends and 2 kids in order for him to say, that's for me, she's made for me. The story didn't somebody got that. I see you. Opened up your eyes, didn't I? Mm-hmm. I see you. Yeah. See, I understand. I get it afterwards. I'll send you some more info on that. I knew somebody was going to get it. You see that? Yeah. There you go. Absolutely. The story didn't say that Adam needed to go, oh my goodness. The story didn't say that Adam needed to go find Eve, or you can say Lilith. That's not what the story said. The story didn't say that Eve was made on the other side of whatever the garden was, and Adam was just made right there, where Adam had to fight the wolves, the bears, and the alligators, and swim over across a couple of rivers and pull a couple of leeches off the skin and make some perfectly looking bear skin shirts and some silk weaved pants and like that to go over there and impress Eve after suffering for a couple of few years. That's not what the story said. The story didn't say that God made Eve for Adam, but Eve had to work and slave to get with Eve. Pause. This is Red Pill MGTOW right here, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what the story said. The story didn't say that Adam needed to be a proper suitor. Oh. The story didn't say that Adam needed to walk around with a pamphlet with his resume and what he's capable of doing, what he used to do in the past 2 seconds. Where he been at on that newly made planet in order for him to impress Eve. That's not what the story said. The story said Eve was made for Adam. Period. It didn't say Eve had 25 bodies on her before she came to Adam. The story didn't say Eve was 43 years old and Adam was 52 and they met each other. And God meant for that to be. That's not what the... Listen, you crazy people... Oh, man. Walking down the aisle, you'll find this woman. And... Oh. Somebody pass me a drink. Pass me a damn drink. Oh, man. Oh. Dear believers, dear people, dear you, listen. The story didn't say that Adam was 45 years old, a Christian. Oh. And he met Eve, who's 34 years old, with 2 kids, and 300 bodies, that is 300 donkey dunk partners that she's had in her past life since college and grade school, and, well, not grade school, but middle school, high school. Well, see, since high school. They better not be doing all like that in grade school, middle school, but high school, since high school. And all the one-night stands and the Jägermeisters and the rum and cola and Coke. The occasional weed smokes in the bathroom and her boyfriend and her hookup and her dealer, right? And her ex-boyfriend that she keep going back to 50 times a year or more. Then all of a sudden she's walking down the aisle next to this Adam 45. And Adam's saying, "Thank you, God. You made this woman for me. God brought Eve my way." 2 broken people. Now, I know this seems like giving you guys an out because you're going to take this out. What that means is you're going to say, "That's absolutely right, Morpheus. We are broken people and we're not perfect. And yeah, we're going to come together after having a rough life. It's just not like that anymore. And. Excuse. You're right. And finally, after y'all done went through your battlefield and your rough lifestyle, God brought y'all back together. God brought you together. God blessed you with this good wife. She's used but she's a good wife. And him being the funny guy and ignorant of himself, saying, well, thank you, God, for this used automobile. It's been driven around town. It's been the village bicycle. And she has 300 bodies and 2 kids that's not even mine. But you know what? She is my Eve because she was made from my rib. That's not what the story said. The story said Eve was made for Adam, from Adam's rib. How is it? Oh, stop. You in the back of the classroom, say something else. Say something else. Think I'm playing with you. I'm not playing with you. How can you say that something's made for you, but it's been made for other people? And then you're in a monogamous relationship. I hate to bust y'all bubble, but I'm going to tell you like it is. Years ago, I'm going to tell you what happened. Men, fathers, family made sure that their daughters was not promiscuous. They made sure that if a suitor came along, when a man came along, he wanted to make sure that this girl was untouched. They prepared their daughters for men. They prepared them. They made sure that their body count was very low. They made sure that she did the right thing. They knew what was on the table. They did what they were supposed to do. If a man met a woman years ago, and she was a virgin or a near virgin, but maybe just 1 or 2 oops, I can understand that to be even a intriguing situation. But it's better than what we got going on today. That's for damn sure. That's for sure. Women just, I can do whatever I want to do. I got like 150 bodies, and I still go back to my ex-boyfriend every time in between relationships. So I'm just going to get married to settle down. It's not that I want to be a wife. I just want the marriage material. I want the marriage experience. But God blesses you. You should feel blessed because you're with me. Because I've been used, and that's the way it is. I'm not going to go down that conversation about, well, what about men? We're not going to do that on this audio. Today, in this classroom, ladies and gentlemen, this is not what we're going to talk about. It's different for men and women. It's different. It's different for men and women. Men don't have that type of issue. We're built different for a reason. We can have that discussion a different time. Men can do what women can't do. Women can do what men can't do. That's how it works in this world. It's unbalanced, but that's just the way it is. I didn't create it. You talk to your perception of God about that. Anyhow, there was morals, there was values, there was restrictions, there was principles, because men looked out for their daughters. They wanted their daughters to have the best pick. They wanted their daughters to find men who was going to appreciate them and to keep them and look at them as the great woman that she is. And it can be a thank you, God situation. Virgins was plenty. If a man found a virgin, it wasn't an uncommon thing. It was common. Women didn't get out there like that. It was considered as a complete crime, a terrible distraught on the entire society if this woman was promiscuous. And if her father or mother found out that she did something with the farm boy, okay, they would be stuck together. They will make sure that they stay together. Just like chess, if you touch the piece, you move it. When you touch it, it's yours. You just marked it. You just put your imprint on this piece. Now you can't remove it. So they would stay together. Then there will be the conversation of who's this boy? Who's this boy you had? Who's this boy that touched you? Who's this boy? Well, you know, he's the farmhand. Well, you and the farmhand, y'all are together now, because it is not good, and it will not be any good for you to try to give your body away now to one of the nobles who's coming into town next month or next week to look for a wife. Because then you're going to have to walk around with a scarlet letter, or you're going to have to walk around with a certain hat on. You got to walk around with a certain colored dress. You're going to have to walk around and advertise that you are not clean, that you are marked. You're imprinted by another man. I don't want to deceive these noble gentlemen coming into town. I don't want to deceive the other families. I do not want to deceive the prince. I don't want to deceive these men who are coming to find a worthy wife, only to find out my daughter has been with two men who have already left their imprint on her. So if they find out, they're not going to blame you. They're going to blame me as the father. So I'll find myself being tarred and feathered and disgraced in front of public, in front of everybody, as a liar. And then you're going to be considered as a 304. And then we're going to be banished to the edge of the town or the city. So you're not going to embarrass this family. You're not going to embarrass our name. You're going to keep your legs closed and you're going to act like a young lady. But should you decide not to do it, there's going to be consequences. So Adam had his Eve in those days. He had a chance. Eve was in the numbers. Indeed, they were. But a lot of you men are still playing on that same fiddle, but her mileage has ran way above 300,000 miles. And you're still talking about, well, thank you God for Eve. It just shows how ignorant we are. Just completely, let me stop. Hey, get what you want. All right? I'm not judging you. Get what you want. If that's if that's what you think it is, have fun with it. But there's a reason why marriage don't stick anymore. There's a reason why in your society, relationships don't stick together anymore. There's a reason why. Men don't like promiscuous women. Not the ones that they keep. They have fun with the ones who are, but they're not the ones who they keep. No. And a lot of you men don't get, because here it is. Because the values have decreased, so have your perspectives and your perception of existence in life. It all tells together. Someone told me once upon a time, hey, you can't intermingle religion with relationships. You can't do that. Oh, yes, you can. I just did it. Oh, yes, you can. That's real life. Why do you get married? Why are you going down to the priest then? Why are you sitting there talking about, well, to God, to death, to hold, to sickness, and to for better or for worse, so help me God. With the Bible on your nightstand. All that tethers together. And a lot of you, you say this, well, I want to raise my kids up in the church because it's the right idea to do. Yeah, go ahead and keep brainwashing them as well. So go ahead. It's your choice. It's your kids. I'm just an outsider. Just continue down the program. It's not going to make your life any better. Let me ask you this. Has it made it any better? Hell no. Even if you think it is in your little bitty experience, look at the way the world is. Because your kid's going to have to break away from you eventually, right? Yeah, yes. Yes, they will. They're going to have to break away from you and be adults eventually. And when they do, they got to face the real world that's outside of their religion. And then they begin to realize, dang, Mom, you lied to me. Dad, you was weak. You should have told me the truth. I'm looking for a woman. I can't find her nowhere because I keep running to women that's taking my money. I keep running to women that are lying to me. I keep running into women who got kids. Dang. All of them got kids? Can I find a virgin somewhere? Dang. And then the dumb dad sitting there, well, that's just the way it is, son. Duh, 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 duh. I want to be the dodo bird in Morpheus's academy, so duh, 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 duh. That's just the way it is. Deal with it, because that's all you got. That's because y'all not hive-minded anymore with virtue and values. You only hive-minded with survival. In any country, state, or unit who's only based on survival above morals and values of their conditions is eventually going to suffer, because just like a pack of dogs, you're going to start eating each other and selling anything that you can just to see tomorrow. Isn't that what you're doing? Yes, you are, including your body. And that's what your daughters are doing too. So it's not about you and your little bitty, small, insignificant, failing experience. This is a universal theme. So yes, religion plays into practically everything. Yes, it does. Yes, you can blend it together and realize there's a relation. Yeah, I mean, apparently there's always relations. But there's a relation between the two. The moral of the story. What's the story, Morpheus? What are you trying to say? I'm just opening up your mind and your eyes. That's what I'm doing. I'm just letting you know that I'm pointing to the river to let you know that it's really an ocean. And it's deeper than what you think it is. But because we are shallow water people, we keep getting eaten by alligators and clapped every day and don't know why. I'm trying to explain to you why you're getting clapped. Why you're struggling. Why you can't find a wife. Why your religion is so fickle. Why you got all these contradictions. How come things are operating the way it is in the world? You're like, well, God, why you allow that to happen? Well, the story's been before you. You've been lied to so many times you don't even realize it's been a lie. You've just engulfed the lie within yourself. You digest the foolishness and you're suffering for it. So you never think to just drop everything and re-educate yourself, redo yourself, rewrite yourself, and recreate yourself through reality, through facts. Because it's too hard for you to do. So because of it, we just continue down the foolish track, like a bunch of rabbits, until we get caught in the trap. It all matters, ladies and gentlemen. It all matters. So because we don't think about this in a pan situation, because we don't unify, because men don't think about that anymore, because it's hum-de-gory, whatever goes, just goes, hum-de-gory. You're in the world that you're in today. It's not an accident that it happened. It's because y'all allowed it to, because you're comfortable. You're comfortable with the lie, and you're comfortable with your foolish, unvirginous, non-valuable lifestyle. So you're going to keep breeding the same type of situations. So you're going to keep breeding the same failing situations from failing ideas. I'm here to wake you up. There's more to come, and that is the lesson for the day, are the eye-opening breakdown details that you probably haven't thought of, and probably have, but need a different perspective on it. There you go. Let's live, love, and laugh harder, but let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. In the end, let's be real.